Oh, man. Hello. Hello, hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Our next guest is a 3-time Emmy Award-winning actor who starred in one of, if not the best television series of all time, Breaking Bad. He's recently returned to that role and given us one last ride with Jesse in El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. He's also a star in BoJack Horseman, a Showtime magazine recently called the most significant animated series since The Simpsons. You can catch him alongside Octavia Spencer in the new Apple TV Plus series Truth Be Told, and pretty soon you'll see him starring in season 3 of HBO's Westworld. Essentially, if it's really good, odds are this guy's in it. Folks, the super talented, the one, the only, Aaron Paul is here. How about that? You guys excited? They're excited. I'm excited. He's excited. I asked him. A lot of excitement in the building. We're going to bring him out in just a second, but first, we have a trailer for the film, so let's go ahead, run that clip.
You ready? Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Aaron Paul. Come on, make some noise!
Wow, I love you all. I love you all. This is a very comfortable chair. Yeah.
You like it? You're comfy?
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
This is perfect. We wanted this to be perfect for you.
It's perfect.
Okay, good. Kate, well done with the pillow. All right, good call.
That's good.
That doesn't come with that. Those are the amenities.
I mean, it's a really...
It's nice, right? It adds a little extra lumbar support.
Thank you.
Yeah, you feel secure but cozy.
How's everybody doing? Yeah? Good.
How are you, sir? This
I'm
is
good.
A whirlwind for you.
Yeah.
All over the place. Anywhere that people could ask you questions, you've been there answering them.
Yeah, you know, this is my last sort of...
Honored.
I love you.
Yeah,
it's been a crazy tour.
It's so great to have you here, man. We will do but we've got a room full of excited fans, a very comfortable chair. We're aiming to be the cherry on top of the sundae for you here. We're gonna do our best.
You already are, my friend.
Oh, stop it. Listen.
You all are.
You have a reputation for being one of the nicest guys in the world, and so far, I got to tell you, living up and exceeding expectations. So don't blow it, because I idolize you.
I love you.
It's so nice to have you here, man.
Yeah, man.
Dude, congratulations. This is wild. What an amazing job. An incredible performance. It's been out, what, 2 weeks now, give or take? What's it like having it out in the wild, seeing everybody talk about it? They stuck the landing. They did it again. What's that feel like?
It feels good to finally have it out into the world. You know, I've been lying about this thing for so long. I really have. I've been denying that this thing ever existed, and you know, rumors were floating around that, oh, is there going to be a Breaking Bad movie? I say, rumors are funny. I have not heard anything. Even long after we shot it, I'm like, yeah, I have no idea.
That is a skill set. I think that nothing in life really prepares you for that part where you have to lie through your teeth for a very long time.
Yeah.
And not like in the way that like, oh, I'm performing. Like real people want to know what's going on, and you can't tell them. How did you learn to do that?
I just like to lie, I guess.
Okay, there.
Yeah. I don't, not in a bad way, but yeah, I mean, even when we were shooting in New Mexico, I thought, okay, this is going to be an issue. People are going to show up with cameras. But never, not one time. But people would ask, "What are you doing here?" And I was, just I'm doing a small little indie passion project. And they're like, "Cool, good luck with that." I'm like, so easy. Yeah, but then maybe a couple people, "No, you're doing Better Call Saul," and I would say, "No, they're on hiatus. We're actually using a lot of their same crew, same people that worked on Breaking Bad," and that was it.
It's great because it's one of those things where a lot of fans everywhere had hoped that we'd get something like this one day, but it'd been 6 years, give or take.
Yeah.
We thought maybe Better Call Saul was it. That's how we got back to the universe. Did you, in your wildest dreams back then, when you guys wrapped up, did you think you'd ever get to come back and be Jesse again, man?
Not a chance, really. I mean, maybe I thought, okay, he might show up in Better Call Saul, but other than that, no.
I remember seeing somewhere you guys had mentioned kind of throwing Alaska out there. For the record, if you guys have, we're going to try to stay away from spoilers, but we might drift there. I assume we've all seen it, right? And we all see more like, yes, thumbs up. Okay.
All right. Thank you,
That's
everyone.
it. Perfect. Yeah. So you guys had thrown out there just saying maybe Alaska as a destination and stuff. I'm sure you thought about where Jesse kind of ended up. How did where he did land square away with what you thought?
To be honest, I was pretty dead on. Right? No, people would ask me. I mean, that was the burning question. I think, that's why we're here today. This was the sort of one big unanswered question. What happened to Jesse after he escaped that compound? And I would say, you know what, maybe I like to imagine him finding like a really beautiful, quiet Alaskan town and maybe opening up a wood shop and making things with his hands, and that was it.
Where does that come from? Why'd you go to Alaska? Do you have like a personal connect? Do you hope to one day go to Alaska on your own pilgrimage?
If you're gonna hide somewhere, you might as well hide in Alaska, or Hawaii. I mean, I don't know. I just feel it's just like what they say in the movie. It's like the final frontier, and he needed some sort of serenity, some sort of peace, and Alaska offers all of that.
For all the questions that this answers, there still are a bunch that are out there that are like, there's so much PTSD and things of that nature that there's so much scarring, literal and internal that Jesse has coming out of this. And in this movie, we only get to spend like a day, and he's in survival mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you said this is a one-off. We know it's a one. Everybody said it's a one-off, but Netflix, in a rare move, well, that's what you said. I saw you say that somewhere. There's one-off.
No, it is.
Not to make you have to lie again.
Netflix
came out and said like 25, 26 million. Netflix never says how many people watch the thing. They came out and said how many people watch this thing. Somebody's going to call Vince and ask him would you come back is the question. Would you do it? Would you do it again?
I mean, to be honest, I would do anything Vince asked me to, he's just such an incredible storyteller, and I thought this guy was done years ago.
Yeah.
And Vince is the last person who wants to ruin the legacy that is Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And so if he wants to tell a story, there's a very specific reason he's going to tell that story. And so when he floated this idea across me, I'm like, it's going to be brilliant, And he told me that. He's like, look, I don't want to shoot this movie unless it's perfect. So now that you said that you're on board, let me write the script, and then we'll go from there. 7 months later, he was done with the script, and he's like invited me to read it, and I go, how is it? He's like, it's pretty damn good. And so to hear his true, genuine excitement on it was just really, really exciting.
That I can't even imagine. Vince, he's just one of the greats right now, one of the best in the game of all time.
And just such a sweet, beautiful, kind man,
When he comes to you and he says, I need this to be perfect, I know this is really good, that's exciting, but that's a lot on your shoulders. You're in every frame of this movie. Is there a part of you that goes, oh, crap, now I got to live up to this? He's giving me this gift. I got to show up.
I mean, I always put so much pressure on myself, and so I think that's just always there, so it didn't really feel any different. It was just exciting when I was driving to his office. I mean, just I don't know, I could feel my heart beating out of my chest. It was just really a strange feeling with the idea of zipping on such a familiar skin, but also such a tortured skin that it was really heavy for me to play this guy for so long, especially the final few seasons. He just really was dragged through the mud for in the most intense way. And so I knew that was going to be a big part of this film, which is, I guess, maybe slightly daunting, but also exciting.
Well, I can imagine, right? Because you get to go back to this amazing sandbox and play in this universe that you have fond memories of. But what comes with that is having to go to these really dark, really intense places. I think I saw you say somewhere you watched one episode. It was season 5, episode 6.
Yeah, an episode called Buyout. Yeah. There's just a particular scene that actually opens up the whole film, and I was just trying to remember where his headspace was at. And so, yeah, I had to rewatch it.
When you're watching that and you're watching your performance and you're watching all you guys work, what are you looking for in those moments? And then how do you convert that into what you need to get to where you got to go?
I mean, I needed to be reminded what was sort of like the domino that tipped that made Jesse decide that this was done. He was over. He was running away. And so it was just that. I mean, I hadn't seen that episode in 6-7 years. You know, it was a long time, and I don't know. I mean, I just feel. Other than that, once I read the script, I felt like I knew every emotional beat. The first time I read it, I knew, or at least I had an idea of how I was gonna play these moments.
There was another funny story you've told recently. This is the best part about getting you at the end. I can ask you follow-ups on all these great stories you've told. You were talking about how when you read it through, I think it was your 4th time, you said you noticed there was no bitch in this.
Yeah, I was shocked.
The lack of bitch. What the hell?
Yeah, and almost every episode, there's some sort of bitch or multiple bitches even. But
was low.
Yeah, the bitch count was very low. And I mean, it might have been 3rd, 4th time going through. I was like, wait, there's no bitch here. And so I called up Vince. I go, did you do this on purpose to have no bitches? You got to give the public what they want, you know. You want the bitch. And so And so there was one scene, and I didn't realize I was going to do it until the cameras were rolling, and I was just in line, you know, making there's a scene where I'm making a salad, and when he's finishing the salad, as one would, he would say, "Yeah, bitch."
It's so good.
And so that's what he did.
And that's the one. Did you try other bitches that didn't make the cut? Were you like trying to feel, was that the one?
That was
the moment.
That was actually the first time I did that. And then actually the very following day, we were just on a roll, you know, and it was a scene where Jesse is taking a bath. Jesse's taking a bath, and he's pouring ice all over him. And Vince mentioned, he's like, maybe you should say, yeah, bitch, during that too. I'm like, okay, might be too many bitches, but he's like, well, we'll use one or the other. I'm like, all right, and so that's what they did. Yeah, that's what they did.
And then you make the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think he went the right way.
Yeah,
Felt
I
good.
think it was good.
Then that scene where you're making the salad and all that stuff, I heard, like you're saying, there's tons of everyone in that diner, friends and family, to preserve the secrecy.
Yeah, it was it was the most secretive scene probably of the entire film for sure. And so it was filled with tons of background players, and they were all either crew members of the show or family of crew members, which was just so nice to have. My brother-in-law was a busboy in it. He was so excited. Yeah, he had his big moment. But yeah, it was great.
That's amazing. Yeah, because the fandom for this show is super passionate, and I imagine that doesn't stop within your immediate family. Like I'm sure people love this show, maybe even more so because they know somebody on it. So to get that phone call to come out and be a part of it, everybody, it must have been like vibrating.
Yeah,
great
I mean,
energy.
it really was such a fun couple days on set. Yeah, the energy was.
And then you and your counterpart there, I'm trying not to spoil, but we've all seen it. You and Brian, you guys had to wear like a cloak or something.
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
From A to B. Like,
and it wasn't just Brian and I. It was whenever we were shooting in somewhat of a public space, they had us wear these ridiculous-looking, like sort of like over-the-top Star Wars cloaks that just went almost over our entire heads or our faces. And we wore those in the car heading to set and then walking from the car to the set. I just thought, this is just drawing so much attention.
so much more obvious.
Yeah, but maybe in people's head, oh, they're shooting some sort of weird cult show over there. But, I mean, it worked, so, yeah.
When you don't have the cloaks, when you're out just walking about and people are thinking you're doing the indie thing, do they yell the bitch at you all the time? That's something that people...
Why would they do that?
Well, like in a loving way. And an effect, like a term
No,
of endearment, an affectionate thing. Do you have to
yeah.
explain it to your family? Do you have to?
Yeah, no, they understand. It actually has slowed down quite a bit. I thought there was going to be a big resurgence of it with this movie, but maybe it's because the lack of bitches in the film is not sort of spiked. But yeah, I can confidently say that I've been called bitch more than anyone on the planet, which I'm fine with.
You own it now.
Yeah, because
It's your work.
it's like in an endearing way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very endearing.
Yeah.
We're going to go over to the audience in a little bit, but as
Yeah.
I mentioned in the introduction there, you've got a trillion different things you're working on right now. Today is the day, the final season of BoJack Horseman on Netflix. And, I just said Time Magazine called it the most significant animated series since The Simpsons, which is a huge thing from a huge publication. You've been a part of a lot of great stuff. Do you know when you're making the thing, can you feel it in the moment that this is different, this is special?
Absolutely. I mean, really, it's about the writing. But we kind of felt the same way with Breaking Bad and BoJack. Not many people were watching the first season of BoJack because they didn't. I don't think they understood the tone of it. They're like, "Well, this is an animated comedy, right? Why aren't I always laughing? It's kind of making me sad." You know, and it's supposed to do that. And that's now people understand. They're like, oh, it's okay to cry when watching an animated show. And this show really takes you down a very heavy road at sort of one man's journey of severe depression. And it's, I'm just so damn proud of that show. And I've been a part of it since it was a 6-page spec treatment before it was, picked up anywhere, so sad to say goodbye.
Did you, and you knew going in exactly, like they told you, this is the tone of the show, this is what we're going for, this is what we're
and I thought it was incredibly brave. And you see that a lot, like in animated films. I mean, Disney animated films make you weep, at times. They're always killing off one of the parents, and you're like, oh man, did they really just murder Bambi's mom? That's pretty serious for a child to go through, but it's really amazing. I was watching The Good Dinosaur with my niece, and my niece Darla. She was about 3.5 or 4. She was sitting on my wife's lap in the movie theater, and a really traumatic thing happens where one of the parents die, and they float down. They get dragged down the river, and they die, and like the sun sets, and then it rises, and so you can tell some time had passed. And my little niece, Darla, reminder, she's 3.5, 4. She grabs my wife's face like this, pulls her head down. She goes, "First comes the fear, then comes the beauty."
What?
What? I mean, oh my God, she's so profound. This little girl, she would tell her mom, she's like, "Mom, Lauren, my wife, Lauren reminds me of the first spring tulip after a long, cold winter." Okay. You know what? She does. She does.
Is that wrong?
Wow, you're right.
Spot on.
Right. And yeah, I mean, one more thing about my niece, just because it's so sweet. She goes, "Mommy, I love you so much. I love you to the furthest star." She's like, "Wow, that's so nice. I love you to the furthest star." She's like, "But Mommy, I love Daddy a little bit farther."
Cold as ice.
I mean, it's pretty, but it's so sweet though, because she's like, "Look, I love you so much. Just so you know, I love you so much. But also, I love Dad just a little more."
Just keeping it real.
Yeah, keeping it real.
An important quality to have at that
keeping it
early
real.
age.
Yeah.
To just keep it real. Just
Yeah.
Let her know where everybody
Such a
stands in the
sweetheart.
house.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's so.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about. Thank you so much for sharing those stories, man. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, if you can tell us anything, man. I know you just wrapped production, Westworld season 3.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to know?
Say again.
What do you want to know?
How was it? What was that like? I know you're a huge fan of the show.
Yeah.
You must. I mean, like, how do you get past fandom that first day?
I mean, a psycho fan when it comes to Westworld, really, and And so when they approached me to do this, I just couldn't believe that I was able to sit down with Lisa and Jonah, the creators of Westworld, in their office, and they pitched me the third season, and then they kind of gave me broad strokes of the rest of the series, and I was like, I can't believe I get to know this information, being such a crazy fan. And so yeah, I mean, it was very strange walking on to that massive, just ambitious set, and then working opposite these characters that, I mean, it was pretty. I mean, I still continue to pinch myself, I was just, is it okay that I'm on the set right now with you guys? Like, this is really wild.
I imagine that's something that you have to work on or do you? You tell me, because you're in this position here, man, where you're in so many amazing projects, an embarrassment of riches, and you knock it out of the park. Do you have to, people, like I said, nicest guy in the world, is that something you have to remind yourself to work on? Or is it, when you look at the guy that was in The Price is Right in that video we've seen all those years ago,
yeah, if you haven't seen it, look it up. Just type in Aaron Paul, Price is Right. Incredibly embarrassing.
Oh, no.
But really, it was one of my finest performances. I was wearing a full-on costume. I had a CBS bumper sticker on my back. I was a walking billboard for their network, and I'm like, I gotta get picked. I was just trying to give them as much energy as possible. This was right when Red Bull, by the way, had come out, and I'm standing in line at 4:30 in the morning to make sure I get into this damn place, and I have a big gulp size. I went to 7-Eleven. I filled it up with 6 cans of Red Bull, which is very dangerous, by the way.
That's a risky move.
I mean, you watched it. I mean, I look like I'm on drugs on The Price is Right. I cannot sit still. But yeah, a lot has changed since the show.
But my point being is, you look at that guy, you look at where you are now, and I'm talking to the same guy, just a regular dude. I would never know you're in some of the biggest things in the world. Is that something you've had to remind yourself? You surround yourself with the right people. How do you stay grounded?
No, man, I know how unbelievably blessed I am, and I mean, I was broke not that long ago. Just over 10 years ago, I'm like, okay, how am I gonna pay my bills? At one point I was living in a walk-in closet inside of a studio apartment, me and a roommate, and one week I would sleep in the bed, one week I'd had the walk-in closet. And it actually wasn't as bad as it sounded. Like, the walk-in closet was fine. I just had a little foam thing that I'd roll up and I would sleep on, that we both did, and it was fine, but it was great. $250 a month we each paid. Like, steal, But I know how lucky I am, and I just I count my blessings every day, and so it's impossible for me. It's impossible to forget where he came from, and I do not take this for granted. Yeah.
Oh, good on you, man. Congratulations on everything, dude. El Camino is on Netflix right now. Keep an eye out. Westworld Season 3, I think, is next year, right? After the holiday. BoJack Horseman final season today. And then when Apple TV Plus launches, Truth Be Told is going to be there as well. Somewhere in all that. I hope you're taking a nap and seeing the family and all that stuff.
Hang out.
I got at least 4 in the room. I want to get to all of them. So let's go ahead. Microphone, we're pointing right here. Go for it, man.
What's up, man?
Hi, Aaron. Huge fan. Seen Breaking Bad 3 times.
I love you.
And BoJack is like my favorite animated show ever.
Thank you.
So I was just wondering what it's like to play Todd with the experience of playing Jesse and being these hugely emotional characters.
Oh man, Todd Chavez is just such a unique, beautiful guy. Just kind of struggling to find his way, similar to Pinkman, in Breaking Bad at the beginning of the show. He's just like kind of this lost kid that just kind of found himself on the wrong path, but a good kid, Granted, yes, he's a murderer and he made meth, but deep below that, he's a good guy. But I love Todd. I think he surprises the audience. I think he comes up with such goofy, outlandish ideas, but some of them really are incredibly smart and profound in a way. And he has the craziest, most articulate, vocabulary. Like, when I read these scripts, I'm like, what what are these words? It's amazing, and it's so fun to play and to represent the asexual community in that way is I think incredibly important, and I'm very proud of.
It's a great question. I know sometimes this is just the way things work out. Just because like 5 things are coming out at once doesn't mean you worked on them all at the same time. But did you
Right.
find yourself bouncing between any of those characters and having to just go from one zone to the other while you're doing all this stuff, or did?
A little bit, yeah. Mainly with BoJack, just because we can record anywhere, and so I would find myself shooting a show or a film, and they would get me into some sort of like sound booth, and I'd come in and record. But yeah,
Is that hard to do to go from those different zones? Or you kind of got it at this point.
I
You
kind
got
of
you got your tricks.
I just kind of know. I just know, especially with Todd. I know these characters so well, and so it's easy and it's fun to kind of.
3 more. Let's do it. Next one, right here.
Do you prefer to play the badass characters?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I gravitate towards roles that, for some reason, are kind of tortured in a way that that forces me as an actor or performer to really feel like deep-rooted sort of emotions. I also love characters going through some pretty serious conflicts, and so it's exciting to me. That's the type of movies I like to watch. I love heavy dramas, thrillers, and so that's the type of roles I like to play. But yeah.
Thank you. Great question.
Thank
2
you.
more. Next up, you got a microphone. Right, one of you two. You both have microphones. Talk at the same time. Let's see whose is on. Let's
Who
go.
will it be? Oh,
He stood. I don't know. Hang on. Oh, you're giving them both.
wow. This is beautiful.
So,
See.
What's your name?
Rue,
Ru. Aaron, nice to meet you.
how's it going? Good to
Pleasure.
meet you. I just wanted to ask, the Breaking Bad was early in your career, and you had incredible performances out of the gate. And then after that, you just kept getting better somehow, and you still do. How do you keep improving your acting skills and the craft?
I don't know. Just trial and error, really. And to be honest, Breaking Bad was not early on in my career. It really felt that way for maybe most of the public, but I was fighting for a good 13 years before Breaking Bad. And I had a lot of great ups, a lot of great, I can call them now, great downs. At the time, I didn't really think they were all that great, but yeah, man. I moved to LA when I was 17. I graduated high school a year early. I was saving up money to move to LA ever since I was 11, I think, 11 or 12. And so I just chased after it out of the moment I could. I thought I knew it all when I moved to LA. I really, I think a lot of 17, 18-year-olds, they think they know it all. But the older you get, you quickly realize, oh, wow, I didn't know anything, But yeah, man, Breaking Bad really helped all involved, to spread their wings, because you're just telling such a great, unique story with just such beautiful dialogue to perform. And so it was easy because you just really believed in the story. And so nothing really felt forced or false. And so that was incredibly helpful. A lot of times earlier on in my career, I was just trying to make bad dialogue good, and it's very hard to do. But Vince and the writers are just so brilliant.
In Breaking Bad, famously, when it first came out, it took a minute for the world to catch up to it and discover it.
Yeah, it really did.
Do you remember the moment where you turned around and you were like, oh my God, like it became a phenomenon?
It was Netflix. Really, people watched the show maybe right around 1 million viewers, which was good, which was decent for AMC, and at the time they were just doing old sort of Westerns and just replaying old films. And then they had a new show called Mad Men that was just landed on AMC. People were loving it, but no one was really watching Breaking Bad. But we had such a rabid, crazy fan base that, and you know, the critics were just nothing but love letters to the show. And then Brian winning Best Actor at the Emmys
Didn't hurt.
after the first 7 episodes was pretty remarkable. But the first 3 seasons, when they landed on Netflix before our 4th season aired on AMC, Breaking Bad became truly the first bingeable new series, which is crazy to kind of be at the beginning of binge watching.
Right.
And my life completely changed, just the way I could walk out into the world when the first 3 seasons landed on Netflix. It was wild.
I don't know if you caught it when you said Breaking Bad became the first bingeable thing. Like 7 people in unison went, mm-hmm. It was
I was
like
there.
an audible,
Yeah. I remember that.
chorus of agreement. Sir, you have the microphone. The final question. It's all yours.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Roy.
Hi, Roy.
I wanted to find out about your process of reconnecting with Jesse. I know you mentioned watching earlier episodes.
Right.
But it had been so long. Were there any scenes that you recorded first or anything like that?
My process of reconnecting with him, to be honest, it was a lot easier than I had anticipated. Because when I read the script, or at least got the idea planted in my head that Vince wanted to tackle this journey with me, you know, continue this story of Jesse, the next chapter, I was like, okay, that was 3 years ago, you know. So it had been 3 years since the show had ended. So not all that long, but I read the script a couple years ago for the first time. And the moment I read it, I was like, I really truly felt, oh, I know these moments, I know these beats. And so it was really easy to reconnect with this guy. It was like revisiting an old, very familiar, tortured friend, you know, and to zip on that sort of heavy skin again was tough at times, but incredibly familiar and comforting, even in those really emotional moments. Because I'm happy that Jesse is allowed to feel these things, you know, even like the sad moments, the happy moments. I'm happy to be the guy that is playing those emotions. That makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, I love the guy. I love Jesse, and yes, he's a bad guy, but I do want good things for him. And
we love watching you do it, man. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for making us the last stop and coming by and hanging out with us.
So great.
It was so great to have you on the show again. Let's remind everybody, El Camino, Breaking Bad movie. You can watch it now or again right now on Netflix. Of course, BoJack Horseman final season today. Keep an eye out for Westworld season 3 on Apple TV Plus. You can check out Truth Be Told. He's going to be there as well. Anything else? Did I miss anything else you got going on? What else?
I think that's it.
Want to plug the mezcal? Anything?
Oh, you know what? I got. If you're drinking at home,
And who doesn't?
who doesn't drink Dos Hombres?
There you go.
Mezcal. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a great audience. Thank you for tuning in. This is Aaron Paul. You got to be louder than that. Come on.